you have to, show your kids that you love them and that, I want the best for you. I want you to have the life that you need to have, And a lot of times what we fail to realize, we allow our kids, we put them into football and all this type of stuff. We forget to tell them about education. We get to tell them about the most important thing in life is to be educated. And without an education, then guess what? They have nowhere to go. This is one of the greatest problems we have right now in the community. Men that are fathers who have their own kids and say, okay, well, that child, they getting in trouble. I ain't worried about them. They ain't my child. But every child in the community is your child. That's something we got to understand, because if you have a child and your child is growing up with these other kids who had no love, nobody taught them about love, taught them how to love, taught them how to be loved, then when they grow up with this hatred inside of them, what happened? When your child and this child at the park, and this child that you said, oh, I ain't gonna worry about him because it's not my child, kill your child. Now you mad. Yep. What you mad for? Because if not, when they get in the streets don't love them. The gangs don't love them. Ain't no loyalty in the gang. Ain't no loyalty among so-called friends. I don't know if this is good, but all that real niggaism and gangsterism is out the door. You understand me? Because real niggaism is nothing. Gangsterism is nothing. It means nothing. These guys that saying that they your friend, they your partner, as soon as you get in trouble, guess what happened? They gone. They gone. And them same dudes, when they see you with something, they want to get it, and you won't give it to them, they'll take your life to get it. And when you get to prison, and none of them dudes gonna be in the courtroom when you stand in front of the judge, and none of them dudes gonna be sending your mama there because she needs something. You know y'all already living in poverty. Ain't nobody gonna send them there. Ain't nobody gonna send you there. Nobody gonna do nothing for you, so whatever you gotta do it for yourself. But the first thing you gotta do is start loving yourself. And if you don't love yourself, how you gonna love somebody else? That's the hardest part about life, loving yourself. But it's easy when you learn yourself. You gotta know who you are. You got a lot of kids running around here talking about their gang members, talking about their real niggas, their gangsters. But what is that? You don't even know the meaning of it. You don't even know what it means. You know what? I said this to a guy the other day. I said, if I tell you ain't a real nigga, you go out your way, even unto death, to prove that to me. But if I told you wasn't intelligent, you wouldn't do nothing to try to prove that you was intelligent. So there's something wrong with this mindset, and this mindset must change. This prison is not the place to be. It's easy to come to jail, it's easy to come to prison, but the hardest thing is getting out. So when you come, before you get here, before you even get to the point, you gotta start making decisions. You gotta make the right decision the first time, so you ain't got to do it over again. I got 6 kids. I love my kids to death. And I changed my life because I wanted them to see that it's something different beside the life that I live. We all got family members that have been in prison, got killed in the street, because everything in the street right now is murder, murder, murder. Don't nobody know nothing but murder. And it's sad because we killing ourselves. There's 2 wars going on in this world right now. There's a war, black on black violence. That's a war. The black man against the black man. It's a war against the system. And we losing the war against each other. We're going to lose this war. We're not going to grow. We're not going to build. And we continue to destroy each other.
Danny, can you pick up on him saying the losing the war and use it as your guiding point?
Yeah, and when you talk about the war, I want to ask you about, and you mentioned it briefly about young people with guns. It's almost as if now it's part of their uniform. It's almost like putting on a belt. You can't go anywhere there's a young person with a gun, riding in the car with guns. What would you say to the young people that decide that they got to have a gun everywhere they go, even taking them to school?
Let me tell you this. In a video game, you can shoot somebody in a video game and, they're going to come back to life. But in real life, when you got a gun, you shoot somebody, you can't bring them back to life. You can't do that. So carrying a gun doesn't make you tough. It don't make you no better. It don't make people stop bothering you if you got a gun. So why would you carry a gun? A lot of times when people carry guns, it gives them a false sense of security. It gives them a false sense of security. But if you don't have that gun, then you can be yourself. You ain't got to rile up. You ain't got to be in a hurry to hurt somebody, because that's something you can't take back. And when you take a life, you can't give that life. No, ain't nothing you can do to give a life back. So put the guns down. Why you got a gun for? If you put that gun down, you can live. Just like they said on Friday. The man told his son, put the gun down, son, and fight. You live to fight another day. When I was growing up, that's what we did. We fought, and we were friends the next day. It was all right. It's all right. It's okay. But stop killing each other. It makes no sense. You best friend today, and tomorrow you got his mama standing over to him in a casket crying, and you in jail. That's 2 lives gone, man. That's 2 lives gone and 2 families destroyed. Why? Because you didn't think. Because you thought having a gun was something important. That's not important. What's important is loving your own kind, loving your brother, loving your friend, loving your mama. If you say you love your mama, then why would you do the things that you do? Love her. Show her your love. Show your brothers they love. Stop killing each other, man. Put them guns down.
And another big issue too I want to ask you about, truancy. Kids who decide to drop out, they're not going to school anymore, they decide school is not important, it's not for them. What would your message be to a kid who decides, you know what, I just want to hang out, I don't want to go to school, school is not for me. 14, 13, 15-year-old kids who decide they don't want to go to school.
I'm going to say this. Man, education is so important. You know, it took me to come to prison to find out who I was and to find my talents. I didn't know I could write. I didn't know I could do a lot of things until I came here. But had I stayed in school, because I was good in school. I played football, I played baseball, you know, I made good grades, but I got to the point where I felt like I didn't want school no more. I didn't need it. But today I realized I really did need school, because the most important thing about education is this. Can't nobody take that from you. Once you obtain knowledge, no one can strip that from you. No matter what you do, where you go, that knowledge will be with you. But the most important thing is that knowledge will get you so far in life. Education will get you so far in life. You got to sit back and realize that I can be a doctor. I can be a lawyer. I can be a judge. I can even be the president of the United States. But how will I get there if I'm not educated? So you must go to school and get your education. That's the most important thing you could ever have is an education. Without that, you can't do nothing with your life. You can't get a job at McDonald's without a GED. And guess what? You need knowledge to get the GED. So once you get a GED, guess what? That's a feat that you went to. That's something that you tried. So now, I got a GED, I'm going to try something else. Let me go to college. What is it that you like to do? Well, find out whatever it is that you like to do, then start doing it right now. Start educating yourself in it now. So when you get older, when you get out of school, guess what? You'll be the best at that career field, whatever it is you choose. But you got to get that education. Never throw that education away.
I have one last question for you. What's the message to the young boys who think they're on the street, that they're bad, they're 15 and 16, and nowadays when you're 16, you can be treated as an adult if you get convicted of a class A felony, which means you can end up in the prison with adults. Your homeboy's not there with you anymore. What's your message to them? They got to walk through this gate by themselves at 16 thinking that they're homeboys, you know, who is protecting them on the streets are not in here.
I'm going to tell you this. Your homeboys ain't your homeboy. It's just bottom line. When you come through that back gate of that prison, you on your own. You are on your own. You are a target when you come through that back gate. Everybody, your homeboy, dude that growed up with your daddy, with your mama, they don't care nothing about you being homeboy. They want what you got in your bag. If folks send you some money, they want that. They're gonna try to get you on some drugs. They're gonna try to get you in some gay stuff. They're gonna try to get you in everything they can get you in, and they're gonna hurt you. They ain't trying to help you get out of prison. They don't care if you get out of prison. So don't come through these gates. Your best bet is to stay free. And how you gonna stay free? Stay in school, get your education, get you a job, and go on with your life. I've been in prison 15 years. I want me a woman. I ain't had damn one of them 15 years. Y'all young boys that like them girls, ain't no girls in here. Ain't no girls in prison. So if you like girls, don't come this way. Please don't come this way. And your friends ain't your friends. You gotta be a friend to yourself. Never go along with people who want you to do something when inside you know that it's wrong. Never go along with them. It don't make no difference because they're gonna talk about you whether you're doing it or whether you ain't doing it. So don't worry about people talking about you. If that's what you're worried about, what they're gonna think about you, they already thinking bad about you anyway. They talk about you when you ain't even around. All the ones you think your friend, they talk about you. The same one that come and talk to you about somebody else, they going to talk to somebody else about you. So don't think that you got friends, and when you come in here, you ain't got no friend. You by yourself. People may act like they're your friend, but one simple thing, a soup, a chip, a cookie, a pack of cigarettes, will get you hurt up in him real bad by the same guy that say he's your friend. Trust me, it happens all the time, and I've seen it many, many times over 15 years. Please, please, I'm begging you, please don't come to this prison. Don't go to now prison. Don't go to the county jail. Go to school, get your education, love yourself, learn yourself, educate yourself, and build yourself. And you can be the best at anything you want to be, but be somebody. Be somebody, because when you choose to do this, you choose not to be somebody. You come in here, you don't have no rights against nothing. You can't do, they ain't gonna let you do nothing. You gotta do whatever you told. So I know a lot of y'all youngsters, y'all don't want nobody to tell you what to do. So when you come in here, you're gonna be told what to do all the time. When to eat, when to get up, what to wear, and we wear white every day, so if you like to stay fly, that ain't gonna help. Yeah, we got on white boots every day. So just stay away from prison, man, please.
Hey, I appreciate your time, brother. Thank you, man. You saving the kids' life, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate
and,
your time.
and God bless you, man. And when you get out, come look me up. All right? Yes, yes, sir. See it?
Thank you.
Man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, this go back a long way. College and all, man, it go back a long way.
Always.
Man, boy, it's good to have a CD.
All right.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate you doing this, man. We're trying to save a kid's life, man. What I want you to do is just kind of tell your story. I got it, but I want the kid to understand how, you know, you can be the smartest guy, do everything right, and make one decision or one situation and turn everything around. I want them to understand that. Okay. All right. Y'all let me know when y'all ready.
Right on yours.
All right. Derek, you know, I know you back from school.
Correct.
And, you know, and you and I were basically on the same path.
Right.
Same path. We had conversations on the same path. But, you know, at some point, something changed. You know, I want you to tell us, you know, your story and how you got to this point.
My story began really at the age of 10, my father's death. Through the grief that I experienced caused me to begin to hate God. Many people didn't understand that I was the inner turmoil I was going through. And really, you know, my mom didn't know how to deal with it. And so, you know, it kind of hid. And what happened is that, you know, I was excelling in school and academics and sports. And so eventually I ended up graduating high school, going to college, and still had all this deep hurt on the inside of me. And what really happened, I began to hate humanity, to be honest with you. You know, I felt that something was taken from me. And, you know, I went on to college, and once I left college, come back home, end up married, and something happened. You know, something really happened, went wrong. And what happened is that I began to, because of the grief, I think what happened is that this greed, I felt that life owed me something. And I began to get involved in the drug world. And that took me to a whole nother place. You know, I became somebody that I really didn't know anymore. And through dealing with drugs, you know, I began to hurt many people. One, my family, you know. And the shame part is that nobody really knew that I had taken that path. Not even my own wife. No one knew. My siblings, you know, it was like I was just, you know, I was stuck in this phase of evil that, you know, I couldn't talk to nobody, you know, and doing that, you know, what I want for people to know is that, you know, we all have choices. We all have choices, and depending on the route that you take will determine your future, your destiny. And unfortunately, I took the wrong path, you know, and I am, you know, and if this message can help anybody, you know, any child, you know, who may have gone through what I went through, you know, I want them to know that there is hope, there is help, and they don't have to take that wrong path, but they need is to make sure that they allow the people who God surround them with to really speak into their lives, and they need to listen, listen to what people are telling you, because many people have come in my life through years trying to talk to me, not knowing necessarily what I was doing, but they try to speak to me, they try to talk to me, but I became so prideful, I just would not hear what no one say, and like I say, in prison, me being here in prison, I come to realize and had to come to terms that I was wrong what I did. That's what made me reach out to Mr. Carr and confess my guilt. Because I come to realize that what I've done is very wrong. And although I never pulled a trigger to kill anyone, but the drugs and things of that nature that I did, it's no telling who hands those fell into. There's no telling how many people died from that. There's no telling how many families that was broken because of that. I don't know how far it reached and the devastation it caused in other people's lives, and and it hurts my heart to know that the devastation that those drugs cause, and I see it every day, even around here, and I think God have really gave me a hatred for it, have given me a hatred for the drugs, and I have a little boy every time, he's 16 years old now, and just the other day, every time I get intimate with him and talk to him about life, he's crying, and I told his mother, I said, we need to find out what's really going on with him, and what happened is that he has no remembrance of me. He felt that he's been cheated. He's been cheated. He was 6 years old when I left the street, and he felt that he'd been cheated. And it's all because of the path that I chose, And our sins always hurt other people, It's not only to destroy your life, but it's going to destroy those who are under you and those who are around you. And that's what it did for me, In prison, it's not a life that was meant for anyone. God had intended this for anyone, But because of what I've done, I brought myself here. I made my choice to do what I did. Didn't know how to do it. So if I can encourage anybody, do not take that path, especially if you're young, you have a choice to make. And that choice is, and I believe this with all my heart, if a man follow the Lord Jesus, if he follow God, I think he'll lead him in the right direction. Matter of fact, I know he will. So I encourage, the young people out there, that, to make sure that, they don't pick up the guns. They don't pick up, they don't sell the drugs, because, it's not just you're destroying somebody else's life. Prison wasn't intended for them. But if they do choose that path, there's a place for them.
Yeah.
There's a place for them.
And when you talk about that, the young kids, there's a rash of young kids, high school age, 15, 16, that choose a life of dropping out of school, right? Not wanting to go to school, just wanting to hang out. What would your message be to those guys or girls?
The way society is now, there's so many negative influences in the world. And I think that a child who is contemplating on dropping out of school, where would that lead them? What else would they do? If they don't get the education they need, if they don't apply themselves at a young age, then what do they believe awaits them on the other end? The only thing that they can do from that is to pick up, start selling drugs, or, if it's a young lady, to try to, depend on another man. What I mean by that is that those on the street corners, they really can't provide for themselves without the education. So I encourage them that, no matter how hard it may seem, to stay in school, because it's a payoff. It may be hard in the beginning, but life isn't easy, and taking the easy path, will bring you a very difficult future. And I believe that, And like I said, I had all the opportunities in the world. As Mr. Carr said, we was on the same path, you know. Been in college, you know, I played ball for North Carolina State, you know. But I still chose, you know, the wrong path. And I can't make it any excuses. So, you know, I tell that child, you know, don't make excuses for what had happened, you know. Just hang on, you know, trust, you know, and surround themselves with the, you know, positive influences, you know. Don't try to, you know, sway away from those guys you see on the street corner. Because that's all every day I walked outside, that's all I saw is a guy on the street corner. They became my father, they became my daddy, they became the influences in my life. And, you know, and I gravitated towards that, you know. And, you know, I wasn't raised like that. You know, I come from a good family. I wasn't raised like that. And I'm sure that there's many kids who come from good families. I'm sure there's some who come from bad families. But yet and still, you know, the choice is theirs. And I would encourage them to, you know, stay in school, to try to further their education, you know, because there is hope. You know, there is hope at the end of the tunnel, you know, but they just got to believe in themselves and believe that God will see them through.
Derek, man, I appreciate you, man. It was good seeing you, brother.
Good seeing
Good
you,
man. And I hope everything works out.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
And anytime you need me for anything like that,
Absolutely, man.
I feel free to call.
Absolutely, bro.
All right, man.
All right.
You got your best, man.
Thank you.
Can I ask him to pick up on something he
Yes,
said?
you want to.
Okay, you mentioned about the unresolved hurt. Okay.
I think one of the signs to tell if a child really is dealing, it's those times when you see your child kind of pulling away. You know, that could be depression. And I think that you really need to begin to build that relationship with that child. If you're a parent, you need to really build a relationship with your child where your child can trust you and that they can be open to talk to you. You know, many times a child do not express themselves or share their feelings because they fear punishment. And I think when a parent is open with the child, you know, and share some of their pains, some of their hurts with the child to let the child into their world. You know, I come from a background where it was you know, I felt sometimes I really couldn't talk to my mother because of her hurt. You know what I mean? Because when my father died, you know what it did to her. And I think that a parent should be open with the child to make them feel safe. That child needs a safe place. It needs somewhere they can come and really open up, you know. And I think that if my mother would have caught that, then this could have been resolved years ago. And how did I overcome it? What happened to me is that, you know, at my sentencing hearing, I heard a loud cry in the courtroom, and it was my son, my oldest son. And he was 10, 11 years old. And it made me realize for the first time that, man, I've done to him what my father did to me. But I wasn't dead. I was still alive. You know, my father didn't make that choice to die, but I made the choice to do what I did. And I knew at that moment that something had to change. And I realized that it was me. I realized for the first time that it was me, that I need to change. And I went on a journey and trying to find my way out of the situation that I had got myself in. And I'm not talking about this incarceration, you know, the prison, the walls. I'm talking about the prison that I was in on the inside. And that's when I met the Lord Jesus. And I think that, you know, many may argue that that's not the way, but for me, it was the way. And through, you know, 10 years, you know, I have got into the Word and allowed the Word to, you know, help deliver me. You know, although I still struggle with the death of my father. I still struggle with the hurts. I still see the consequences and the pain that my family go through. But, you know, I still have hope. I still believe that God is on the throne and that He is all powerful and that He can heal any broken heart. And I believe that. And so for me, that's who it was. It was Jesus who began that healing process in me.
These words that you're saying, speaking about yourself, and your son apparently is going through something similar because you're not there.
Right.
How or what are you trying to do as best you can at this point and try to encourage your son to try to hang on and move forward?
You know, matter of fact, you know, I write my son pretty much every day or every other day, encouraging him. You know, when you guys call, I was actually writing him. You know, and you know, I just want him to know, because I want him to know that I love him, and I don't try to hide anything that I've done in life from my kids. You know, I be totally honest with them, and I'm very open with my kids, and I try to make them feel safe where they can come and talk to me, even when their mother can't reach them. You know, and I thank God for the administration here. You know, if there is a problem in my family, you know, my wife can reach out and call, and they will get me, or I can call her back, you know, on the phone. You know, and that's just, you know, the grace of God. I'm thankful for that. But I try to always encourage my kids that, you know, that to make sure, the one thing we talked about before is staying in school, to make sure that they are pressing through, that we're going to have problems in this world. But, you know, we trust we can make it through, you know, and I continue to tell him that he needs to surround himself with people that, whoever he wants to be like, you know, and hopefully there's a godly path. Then he needs to surround himself around people who is traveling in that direction, you know. And that's why I felt that, you know. Like I said, I was raised in church. I was raised in a good family. I had a father and a mother, you know, and I just chose the wrong path. You know, I tried it and I showed him that. And I also share my testimony, how I feel from grace, you know, and I began to point out some of the things that I may see in him that led me astray, and we try to correct that, you know, because the father's job is to lay his hands on his children, you know, to curb his behavior, you know, restrain his movement, curb his behavior, you know, although I may be absent in the flesh, but, you know, I still have other means, you know, where I can reach out to my kids and help them to understand, you know, and I thank God that they do talk to me. They reach out to me, they talk to me, and they still respect me, you know, and that's, you know, just a blessing, you know. You know, my wife, you know, she still look at me as a husband, at the head of the household. That's a blessing, you know, and just a blessing from God, you know. And I, you know, through this incarceration, I've learned many things, man. They have taught me how to be a father. I learned how to be a father. I learned how to be a husband from behind walls. I'm fortunate. I didn't know what that was when I was free.
And I want to touch on one last question. That I think is very important also. You mentioned the people you hang around sometimes can lead you astray. You can think they're your boys, you can think they're in your best interest, but they're not. Can you talk about that right quick?
Of course, being in the drug world, you begin to get many friends. And we understand that because of the money. You know, people love to hang around people with money. And I was fooled. You know, I thought even guys who I grew up with all my life, I really thought was my friends. And when I end up in a position like this, I realized that I didn't have friends. You know, guys I went in business with, I started different businesses, Shell gas station, many things. I did many things, you know, when I was in the free world, and accumulated a lot of wealth. But I come to find out that it was all worthless. Money and all. All it did is cause me a lot of sorrows, you know, because of the friendships and all the people that hung out around me. You know, I found out in life that they weren't with me for who I was, but probably for what I can give them. And I hadn't heard from many of those friends for many years. I've been incarcerated 10 years now. As a matter of fact, you know, one of the ones that I felt was he was a brother to me. And that was times that that, you know, someone wanted to help me get an attorney and things like that, and this particular friend stepped in and kind of blocked that, you know. Does it hurt? Yeah, it hurt. But I thank God that that happened because it really opened my eyes. You know, it opened my eyes and let me know that, you know, sometime in life we can have the wrong people on our sides, and the very ones we think are there to help us is really there really to hurt us, to keep us down. You know, so that's one thing I want to encourage, you know, any kid, be very careful who they allow to enter a circle. Very careful, you know. If you're joking up with somebody who is doing something wrong, then it's very well that they're not your friend, because your friend is the one who is going to speak up. Even when it hurt you, he's going to tell the truth. He's going to tell you the right direction to go. And unfortunately, I didn't have many friends like that.
I appreciate it, man. Again, Derek.
Right, man.
And you'll be in. Okay?
All right, man.
All right.
Appreciate it, man.
Okay?
All right.
All right.
Good talking.
Good talking.
All right. Y'all be blessed.
All right.